Hello, can you hear me? Slight. Hari Om. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam. Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram. Om Karpura Gauram Karunavataram Samsarasaram Bhujagendraharam. Sada Vasantam Hridayaravinде Bhavam Bhavani Sahitam Namami. Hari Om. In India, it is already Guru Purnima. So I transport myself and you all to India and wish you all a very happy Guru Purnima. But we are here on the eve of that Guru Purnima, and tomorrow we'll be celebrating it in a grand way in our new center, that is Chinmay Somnath. I hope you all know it. So, just few minutes back, I was with our mission members and I asked what is the topic for my satsang. He said, whatever you want. Then one said, Updesh Sara, speak something. Somebody said, Karma, Dharma. Then somebody says, why do we suffer? You know, there are, so I said that was my mistake, I asked. I asked one thing and then so many suggestions have come like YouTube. So many have come. So I do not know exactly what to say, but I will start with our Puja Gurudev because tomorrow is Guru Purnima also. And next year we are going to celebrate what you call Puja Gurudev's birth centenary year. And the theme of this celebration is unto him our best. Because he gave his best to us, so unto him our best. We had a World Workers Conference in Chinmay Vibhuti, and at that time I had composed a prayer song that we bow down to Gurudev, and the idea of that song is that very remembrance of his is very sweet and inspiring, and all devotees, sevaks, disciples, they feel blessed and fulfilled. And he gave his best to us, and now we promise that we will give our best to him. That is the song. So now I'll sing, we'll begin with that. Then whatever thought comes to my mind, I will speak about it. श्री गुरुदेव को करे नमन हम, श्री गुरुदेव को करे नमन हम, श्री गुरुदेव को करे नमन हम, श्री गुरुदेव को करे नमन हम। स्मरण ही जिनका प्रेरक प्रियतम, स्मरण ही जिनका प्रेरक प्रियतम, श्री गुरुदेव को करे नमन हम। भक्त शिष्या सेवक जन हो, 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 जीवन सबका धन्य धन्य हो, जीवन सबका धन्य धन्य हो। श्री गुरुदेव को करे नमन हम। श्री गुरुदेव ने अपना उत्तम, श्री गुरुदेव ने अपना उत्तम बांट दिया सबको समसतम, बांट दिया सबको समसतम। श्री गुरुदेव को करे नमन हम। कृतज्ञता से हम करते प्रणय, कृतज्ञता से हम करते प्रणय, उत्तम अपना करेंगे अर्पण, उत्तम अपना करेंगे अर्पण। श्री गुरुदेव को करे नमन हम, श्री गुरुदेव को करे नमन हम। स्मरण ही जिनका प्रेरक प्रियतम, स्मरण ही जिनका प्रेरक प्रियतम। श्री गुरुदेव को करे नमन हम, श्री गुरुदेव को करे नमन हम, करे नमन हम, करे नमन हम। हरि श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। So prostrating Puja Gurudev. Now we continue our satsang. Now you listen to this Upadesh Sara from children, and somebody asked me that speak something about Upadesh Sara. So see, this Upadesh Sara itself is the essence of the teaching of Lord Shiva to the ascetics of Daruka forest. But what is the essence of Upadesh Sara also? What is the essence of it? That is given in the 10th shloka of Upadesh Sara. It says, Hristhale manah swasthata kriya bhakti yoga bodhasya nishchitam. The goal of all yogas, the spiritual practices, and in fact the very goal of our human life is what? Hristhale manaswasthata. That is the avoidance of mind in the self. This is the very goal and essence of all the practices. Kriya, Bhakti, Yoga, Bodha. Karma Yoga, Kriya. Bhakti, devotion. Yoga, that of 8 limbs, the Yoga Marga. Or Bodha means Jnana Marga. All these paths are actually meant for leading our mind to Rusthala, the Rut Swarupa, Atma Swarupa in the heart, which is the very place of the self. In other words, abidance of mind in the self is the very goal of human life. That itself means our mind has gone away from its own self. That's where to lead it. Right? If you go for a morning walk, you know that you have to come back also. And when you go on your vacation, when you book your tickets, you book your return ticket also. And I think that you are more worried about that, because you don't want to get stuck in, I don't want to say the name of any country because, why should I say? They will say, you are prejudiced or something. So I don't want to say anything. But you don't want to get stuck anywhere very unknown, unfamiliar place and all that. But we do get lost. So we start all right and we go. The other day somebody asked me a question. The question was that it is said that a jiva got separated from the Lord. Whether say jiva separated from the Lord or our mind got away from the self, you say, and then our goal is to come back. Right? Why in the first place the jiva got separated? Why it got separated? Why it moved away in the first, why? Because we have to again come back. I asked that man, do you go for a morning walk? He said, no, evening walk. Because morning means I have to get up very early. I go for evening walk. Okay, whether you go for a morning walk or evening walk, then when you go from home, do you come back? You say, yes. I said, if you have to come back, why do you go in the first place? After all, you will go and walk and walk and walk, and then you will come back home only. So why do you go? Better ho ghar mein, just remain seated there in the house, like I do. So just sit at home. Why do you go? He never asked any further question. Then he said, I got the answer. Why? Because, you feel sitting at home. Let me go out, stretch myself, one on one. And move out. And then you go out. But you must know that you have to come back also. Otherwise, you will just go and walk. It happens, people come to our Siddhabadi or somewhere, and they get very inspired to walk. And while walking, they are talking, walking. How long they go, they don't remember, realize. And then suddenly it's getting dark. Oh, I have to go back also now. So therefore, be wise. How long you have to go that you should know. And you have to come back. Otherwise, we get lost. But what happened, whatever it may be, but our mind has gone away from the self. And what is that self? Now we'll feel our mind is restless and agitated. And we are longing for peace. What does it mean? That self is of the nature of peace. But we have moved away from that peace. And moved away to pieces. So many things. I have to come back to that. Or sorrow, yes, suffering. So that means what? Atma is Anand Swarup. So we have moved from Anand, from Shanti, from Ananda. And now we are lost in this jungle of samsar or whatever you call it. So instead of Shanti, there is only Ashanti. The only thing we do is we build our house and call it Shanti Nilay. Because somewhere some Shanti should be there. But in that building, the house only, there was a lot of Ashanti and all that. Huh? But that's what we say. But you have peace. I stayed in a very rich man's house, and he's a three-story building and all that. And he says, I've got a lot of money, but I don't know what is happiness. Happiness is not known at all. Lot of money there. So what is it happening? And also we are in ignorance, confused state. Generally we are in a confused state. Anything that I'm not sure. I have not made up my mind. I'm not very sure. So that means what? That Atma is of the nature of jnanam, knowledge. And then we are in this ignorance. So our true self, true nature is jnanam, knowledge. True nature is ananda. True nature is shanti. There we have to go back. Right? So there, but it has moved away now. How to go back? All yogas, whether karma yoga, bhakti yoga, or ashtanga yoga, jnana yoga, all of them are meant for leading our mind to that. And to reach there are two states. It is achieved in two stages. One is to purify our mind, and second is to get clear knowledge. What we need, the purity of mind and clarity of knowledge. When these two things are there together, then the mind abides in the self. So, in Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, all of the yogas, you will find one aspect is to purify the mind. And second aspect is to gain knowledge, this knowledge of the self. Now, one simple shloka will take from Updeshara to come back to our Ananda Swarup. Okay? Hrusthale manaha swasthata kriya bhakti yoga bodhasya nishchitam. Now what is that shloka? In one place it says, Kim swarupami tyatma darshani avyaya bhava purnachit sukham. He said, you inquire, Kim swarupam mama, what is my nature? What is my nature? Means happiness is my nature or sorrow is my nature. Because see, everything has got two kinds of nature. One is its essential nature and other is called acquired nature. Means it is swabhavika dharma and other called naimittik. It is because of association with something else that dharma has come to it. Therefore, it is called naimittik or acquired nature. Like water becomes hot because some heat is there, therefore. Right? Otherwise, it is not hot. So now I have to think, now I feel I am restless, I am unhappy, I am sorrowful. Is this sorrow my very nature? Or it has come to me acquired? Which nature is this? It is a fact that I am sorrowful now. It is a fact I am restless also now. But is this my essential nature? The essential nature is that which does not become a burden to that thing, number one. And there is no tendency to get rid of it. It is not a problem also. Like heat is not a problem for fire. If I put my hand, it is a problem for me, but not for fire. Because it's essential nature. So fire, it's not, what is the problem in that? So it doesn't become a burden. We do not want to get rid of it. And the thing is, you cannot get rid of it. If it is my nature only, prakruter anyatha bhavaha na kathanchana shakyate. What is the nature of a thing? Then cannot be changed or given up. Okay, now this is clear. What is not my nature, it becomes a burden. And then I have to get rid of it. I'll give a very simple example, a relative example. Suppose you have a shoulder bag on your shoulder. After some time, that also becomes a botheration only. Yes or no? Yes, botheration. Because it's not your nature. It becomes, sometimes you put on this shoulder, and the best thing you find somebody, hold it please. You can hold it, you have to hold or to sold, and it can be sold, so many things can be done and all that. But the interesting thing is, we are carrying our head on our shoulder, but no problem at all. A bag is there on my shoulder, it is becoming a problem, but the head on my shoulder, why? Because as far as the waking state, I am identified with the body, the whole body is me, myself only. So then the head, it doesn't become any problem. Another thing, you are carrying your lunch packet. So you are holding it. It becomes burden. Then you sit down somewhere, open it, and finish it. Now the whole food is gone in your stomach. And now you can, the amount is same. The same amount what was outside, that has gone inside. Now because it has become me. So what is me, myself, truly, then that is not a problem. So, how do you think Ananda is my nature or Dukkha is my nature? What is that you want to get rid of? I'm so happy, I have to get rid of that happiness now. No. Happiness, I don't want. I feel so light and all that. But sorrow, any kind of pain, sorrow, suffering, it becomes a heavy. You have to just wait when that will be over. Correct? So, from this, Kim Swarupame Tyapma Darshane, when I inquired, what is my nature? Ananda is my nature or sorrow is my nature? If sorrow was my nature, it would not have become a burden. I would not have tried to get rid of it. And even if I had tried, I would not have succeeded. But our tendency is to come back to Ananda. And therefore, any kind of sorrow, after some time, our mind becomes, quiet for some time. Again you remember and again it comes and all that. But otherwise, shant. The man gets angry also. Now angry, they don't use the word angry here. I say I got mad. In anger, man becomes mad only. It is all right. Mad. It is called temporary insanity. So become mad only. So got angry. When such a person angry, other people say, leave him alone for some time. Let the storm go away. He'll become shy. because that's what the real essential nature is there. So now what we find here, my nature is avyaya, abhava, apurnachit sukham. I am that sukha swarup. It is not created, abhava, and therefore avyaya, avyaya, undecaying. Because what is created, it gets destroyed. But that which is very nature, my essential nature, it doesn't go away. Therefore, avyaya, abhava, apurna, complete. And it is not conditioned by a particular time, place, situation, or anything. It doesn't depend upon that. That is called my Swarupa, Chaitanya Swarupa. And this is Atma. To come back to this is all yogas. That is the essence of Upadesara. Okay? Hrusthale manaha swasthata kriya bhakti yoga bodhascha nishchidam. Then Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi explains what is Karma Yoga, what is Bhakti Yoga, what is Ashtanga Yoga, what is Jnana Yoga. That he details, but coming to this Swarupa. Now, from this, we come to that topic also when people say, why do we suffer? Think of it. If my nature is Ananda Swarupa, why is it that I suffer? That suffering is there because I identify myself with something which is not my essential nature. So wherever that we identification takes place as I or my, our identification are there only in these two forms, I and mine. And then that what I think I am, but that is not me. And what I say my, that is only my attachment, identification. Therefore, something happens to that, then I feel, oh, that's what it happens. You know, I put my, this is called wristwatch. Right? Now, when you look at it only as a wristwatch. But when I look at it as my wristwatch. So there is a difference. Now, if something happens to it, you are not affected. Something happens to it. But if something happens to me, if I don't find it here, what? Where is it? And you very objective say, it must be there only. You are just. And Swamiji, we know that you have not bought it. Somebody has given to you and you understand? So now this object is the same, but the difference is when I see it's mine, and you see it's an object. So if something happens to it, it is stolen, broken, lost, anything, then I feel. And I am also feeling because I have got it. Now suppose I give it away to somebody. Not I'm going to give, but but suppose I given it or sold it or whatever it is, and then something happens to it. That's why some people, they sell their property at right time and all that, and somebody price have gone down. I am happy. I sold it a very good time, and now it is his problem. You see, it's interesting every day that what we see now in the Brazil also. Brazil lost. Did you feel very sad about that? In their soccer game and all that. Only those who people identified with that dream, or those who put lot of bet, money in that, so they are terribly suffering and all that. बाकी तो कैसा हाँ हाँ I don't know even anything about that game also. So you innumerable examples. You will find whenever that suffering comes, you agitation, restless, sorrow, suffering, whatever you will call, it always comes because of identification and attachment. And then identification gives rise to attachment, attachment gives rise to expectations, and there are so many other thoughts are there along with that. And therefore we suffer. Why do we suffer? So many other reasons, no, people will say my karma, my this or that. But it is, according to Vedanta, it is only identification. Correct? That's what is the cause of our suffering. But remember, as far as this world is concerned and our life is concerned, we cannot remain without identification because some identity has to be there. If you are asked, you are a man or woman, so the man has to say I'm man, woman has to say I'm woman. What Indian or American? Birth-wise Indian, but now passport-wise American. So some identity will be there. So anywhere you go, you have to produce your identity. So you cannot remain without that. So some identification will be there, and accordingly, this is my, that is yours, that also will remain there. There is nothing wrong in that. The only thing is what happens is that our identification, our attachments, our expectations, all that become very overwhelming and we lose objectivity. Nobody says that you have to just run away from this whole house or everything and all that. By running away from home and going to Himalaya is not going to solve the problem because you will find another house there. So that, we are quite good at it. So the absolute level to get rid of suffering is to really to abide in the self and look at the whole life objectively. Huh? Now when you go to the hospital to visit some patient and all that, how objectively you go there? So if you also have got a problem, you should look at your own body and it's that problem also objectively. They'll suddenly say, Why do you say that? Why can't you look at it that also? Like, you look at some other patient, in the same way look at your also body. That type of thing must be there. In the same way, extended family also, or whatever is that. So now, if somebody's watch is lost or anything is lost, we say things can happen like that, right? So then, if my thing also gets lost, I should also look at it that only. Then I have my something, let us say something lost. Old watch is lost. Then I ask somebody, can you tell me where that watch is? He said, yes, I can tell you. Where? The thief who has stolen, it is with him. Or where you misplace it, it is there. I tell you where it is. Now what else I can say? Now, again, it is true, the parents, particularly parents, very difficult to see their children suffering. But that also, remember, because of identification and mamatva bhav only, there is more and more all that. And I don't say that the parents should not suffer and they should not feel anything and all that. That is not, I am not saying that. I am only saying try to be objective. And being objective, what you can do, that you have to do it. And also say that as Chaitanya Atma, I am always free. It is, now I am associated with my body, associated with all that, but remember, I belong to God. I am a jiva, that's the part of God, and everyone else also is a part of God. And therefore, the best thing is you do whatever you can do for that, but also pray to God. Bhagavan, take care of your children. One true story I am telling you. One mother was in one city, in that she was sitting in the temple. I know that lady. And her daughter met with an accident in another city. And she got the news that daughter got an accident. And you know what? She, Prabhav of Satsang, she prayed to God, Lord Krishna's temple. She said, Bhagavan, I cannot go there immediately, but you are all pervading. You are all powerful. You please be with her. That girl is quite good now. I met her also recently. So, but it happens a few years ago. But what is the point here? Otherwise, if somebody she'll faint or go mad or how to read her and all that. But you can't do that. Have that. Pray to God. But understand all our the sorrow, tension, worries, all of that comes. It is because of our relationships. And there is nothing wrong with it. If mother or father will not get worried, then who will get worried? So that is very good that they get worried. Suppose some parent don't get worried, they go, what is the problem? You are not so feeling or what? No, but that is right. But at the same time, have more objectivity and have that relationship with God. I belong to God, they also belong to God, and I pray. And here, whatever I have to do, I go on doing it. So, not that your feeling of sorrow or worry will go away, but it will be, under control. But this is the cause of our, why we suffer. Always remember, it is caused because of identification, attachments, expectations, and so on, because of their frustrations. And that's what it all happens. Therefore, on one hand, at the absolute level, we must remember our true nature. At the relative plane, we must remember our relationship with the Lord, and then look at this whole world. You will find it is not that miserable as you think. Of course, there are certain sorrows objectively are there, but you have to deal with it. And then go through it. And what is karma dharma? I am trying to combine all the topics which were asked. So whatever the result is there, that result is of karma. Now what we have to do is that karma should be righteous karma. Then that's called dharma. Otherwise, any karma, any action is a karma only. And if I do the criminal act, that also is karma only. Noble act, that also is karma only. But when I do action which integrates my personality or which integrates the society, then that karma is called dharma. Because dharma means that which integrates. Now, if my karma is something which is only dividing everybody, disintegrating, then that's called adharma. But when I do the karma so that my mind, intellect, they are integrated, my personality is integrated, and also I work for the integration and prosperity of everyone, then it becomes dharma. So karma is one aspect of action we do at a physical level. Dharma becomes a bhavana. Hmm? Dharmic bhavana, that's what we say, bhavana. It is an attitude, feeling. And then if one thing you add more, and that is done as worship of God, then do you know what will happen? Karma gives its own result. Your attitude gives result. And because you have dedicated to God, that God's grace also comes, and that shows its result. So the result three. But if in my mind the bhavana is wrong, there is no dedication, all that, so it will be karma. You understand? Dharma swanushtita punsam, Bhagavatam says, Vishwaksena kathasuyaha na utpadayet yadi ratim shrama evahi kevalam. You know that dharma or that karma which does not create love for God in your heart, then that karma is only labor. That's all. Shrama evahi kevalam. You did all that and then you feel exhausted only. Huh? But if that karma is done with the right attitude, as Upadesara says, Ishwararpitam nechaya kritam chitta shodhakam mukti sadhakam. When that karma is dedicated to God without any attachments to results, then that purifies the mind, liberates the person. You see, this is all that what is there. There are some shlokas in Srimad Bhagavatam that we have got all these problems, we have got kama, desire, krodha, anger, fear, and then we have got jealousy. There are so many our things are there, and there it is a dialogue between Naradji and Yudhishthira. So where all this, it is said, you conquer this by this by this by this, everything is pointed out. So, Baba, I conquer this by that, that by that. No shortcut. Or we always look for something. So he says, yes, there is one. And do you know what? Etat sarvam guru bhaktya purusho anjasa jaye. All this you can conquer if you have Guru Bhakti. Guru Charanam Bhuja Nirbhara Bhaktaha Samsarat Achirat Bhava Muktaha. You see, Shankaracharya Bhagavan said, the one who becomes totally devoted to the lotus feet of the Lord, who is in the form of Guru, and then quickly you will be liberated. So I started with Guru, I am concluding with Guru only. Okay? So that Guru, etasaram Guru Bhaktya. This Guru Bhakti is the one that will really take us across this ocean of samsara. Guru Kripa, Hi Kevaram, Moksha Moolam, Guru Kripa, and the source of liberation, the means of liberation is a Guru's grace. Remain steadfast, never doubt, never waver from your faith. Huh? And that's what will save you. That is the only saving grace. Okay? So let us sing some Nam Sankirtanam. Om Mangalam, Omkar Mangalam. Om Mangalam, Omkar Mangalam. Guru Mangalam, Guru Pada Mangalam. Guru Mangalam, Guru Pada Mangalam. Om Mangalam, Omkar Mangalam. Om Mangalam, Omkar Mangalam. Guru Mangalam, Guru Pada Mangalam. Guru Mangalam, Guru Pada Mangalam. Om Mangalam, Omkara Mangalam. Om Mangalam, Omkara Mangalam. Guru Mangalam, Guru Pada Mangalam. Guru Mangalam, Guru Pada Mangalam. Om Mangalam, Omkara Mangalam. Om Mangalam, Omkara Mangalam. Guru Mangalam, Guru Pada Mangalam. Guru Mangalam, Guru Pada Mangalam. Om Mangalam, Omkara Mangalam. Guru Mangalam, Guru Pada Mangalam. Guru Pada Mangalam. Guru Pada Mangalam. हे सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय. What is that? Puja Gurudeva's blessing with you all.